I am 70 years old now, and I want to tell you something that took me 45 years to truly understand. It is not something I read in a book or heard from someone else. It is something I lived, something I paid for with missed moments, sleepless nights, and regrets I cannot take back. If you are younger than me, I hope this reaches you in time. And if you are close to my age, I hope it reminds you that it is never too late to change. I am not here to teach you. I am just here to share what I wish someone had told me when I was 25. Give me a few minutes. What I am about to tell you might save you years of wondering what really matters. 1. Chasing the wrong success. I spent the first 30 years of my adult life chasing what I thought success was supposed to look like. More money, more titles, a bigger house, and a newer car. I believed that if I just worked harder, stayed longer at the office, and kept pushing, I would eventually reach some kind of finish line, a place where I could finally slow down and enjoy life. But that finish line kept moving. Every raise brought a new expense. Every promotion brought more stress. And every goal I reached was replaced by a bigger one the very next day. I used to tell myself I was doing it for my family. That all the long hours, the missed dinners, the late nights, and the early mornings would one day pay off. That one day, we would all sit back, comfortable and grateful for the sacrifices I had made. But that day never came the way I pictured it. I missed my daughter's first recital because I was at a meeting that ran long. I missed my son's baseball tournament because I was on a business trip I could not reschedule. My wife used to pack dinner for me in Tupperware, and I would eat it cold in my car between appointments. I thought I was being responsible. I thought I was being a provider. But now I see it more clearly. The people I was working so hard for did not need the bigger house. They needed me. They needed me present, and I was not. I remember one night, I got home around 9 o'clock. My son was sitting on the couch, watching cartoons alone. I asked him how his day was, and he said, "Fine," without looking up. He did not ask where I had been. He did not seem upset. But that quiet, that distance, stayed with me. It took me years to understand that children do not measure love in dollars. They measure it in minutes, time spent, attention given. My presence would have mattered far more to them than the things I was breaking myself to provide. It is not that success is wrong. It is not that working hard is bad. But when you sacrifice connection, family, and your own well-being for a vision of success that was handed to you by someone else, you risk waking up one day and realizing you have climbed the wrong mountain. I have seen it in others too. Friends who reached the peak of their careers but found themselves alone, burned out, and wondering why they still felt empty. No title, no salary, no applause can replace the warmth of a shared meal, a child's laughter, or a peaceful night's sleep. If you are chasing something right now, I am not telling you to stop. I am just asking you to look around and ask yourself, what is it costing you? Is the life you are building today one you will be proud of tomorrow? Because when you get to 70, like I am now, you will not remember your revenue targets or your quarterly reviews. You will remember who you sat next to at dinner, who called you just to say they missed you, who you made laugh when things were hard, and if you are lucky, they will still be there. 2. The myth of busy means important. For most of my life, I believed that being busy meant I was doing something meaningful, that if my calendar was full, if I was rushing from one meeting to the next, if I never had time to rest or sit still, it must mean I was important, needed, valuable. That belief followed me well into my 50s. I used to brag about how little sleep I got, how many hours I worked in a week, how I had no time for vacations. It made me feel accomplished, respected, like I mattered. But deep down, I was exhausted, and not just physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually drained. I had built my entire identity around being busy, But I had not stopped to ask what I was so busy doing and why. Looking back, I realize now that busyness was a way to avoid silence, because in the quiet, I might have heard the truth, that I was tired, that I was lonely, that I did not know what made me happy anymore. We live in a world that celebrates hustle. We are told that slowing down is lazy, that rest is weakness, that if we are not constantly moving forward, we are falling behind. But I am here to tell you, that is not living. That is surviving on autopilot. I used to schedule every moment of my day, work calls, emails, tasks, even meals. But I never scheduled time for joy, for reflection, for connection. And those are the things that make life rich. You can be busy for years and not move 1 inch closer to a life that feels meaningful. I was busy building a resume, but I was not building memories. I was busy meeting expectations, but I was not meeting myself. One day, I asked an older colleague, someone I admired, how he managed to stay so calm, so grounded, even in a high-pressure job. He smiled and said, "I stopped letting my calendar tell me who I am." That stuck with me. Being busy does not make you valuable. Your value is not in how many tasks you complete. It is in how you live, how you love, how you make others feel. The people who matter most will not remember how efficient you were. They will remember how present you were. These days, I leave space in my schedule. I take walks without a phone. I sit with my thoughts. I let myself get bored sometimes. And do you know what happened? I started to hear my own voice again. I started to feel alive again. If your life is so full that you have no room to breathe, to reflect, to simply be, maybe it is time to ask, who are you without all the noise? What remains when the rush stops? Because that is where the real you begins. 3. People leave. Time does not wait. There is something nobody prepares you for when you are young. They tell you to work hard, chase your dreams, and save for retirement. But they do not tell you that one day the people you love will be gone, and you will wish you had more time with them. I used to believe I had time to visit my parents, time to catch up with my old friends, time to fix the distance in my relationships. I kept telling myself, I will call next week, or we will plan something soon. But the truth is, time does not wait. It keeps moving, with or without your permission. My mother passed away before I made it home for Christmas. My father passed while I was stuck in traffic on the way to the hospital. And one of my oldest friends died suddenly from a heart attack. I still have his last voicemail on my phone. I replay it sometimes, just to hear his voice. I kept thinking there would be more time, but there was not. There rarely is. The thing is, we always think we are too busy. We postpone visits, delay conversations, cancel plans, thinking there will be a better moment. But moments do not wait. People do not wait. What I regret most now is not what I said, but what I never said. The hugs I never gave, the laughs I missed, the simple moments I ignored because I was distracted or too focused on something that, in the end, did not matter. The people in your life are not permanent fixtures. They are living, breathing souls with a timeline you cannot predict. Every day you have with them is a gift, and you only realize how precious that gift is when it is gone. So call your sibling, visit your friend, sit with your spouse without distractions, ask your kids questions, and listen fully. Because when you are 70, you will not care how much money was in your account or what car you drove. You will care about the people who stood by you and whether you stood by them. I wasted time thinking I had more of it. Do not make the same mistake. Time moves. People leave. But love, that stays if you give it now. 4. Health is wealth, and it runs out. When you are young, your body feels almost invincible. You eat what you want, sleep when you can, push through fatigue, and bounce back the next day. You think aches are temporary, and checkups are just routine. But somewhere along the way, the warning signs start to show. and most of us ignore them until we no longer can. I used to treat my health like a background character in my life. I assumed it would always be there, quietly supporting me, while I focused on what I thought really mattered: work, goals, providing for my family. I skipped meals, lived on coffee, and told myself I would rest later. I canceled doctor appointments because I was too busy, and I pushed through stress like it was some kind of badge of honor. Then one day, my body pushed back. At 58 years old, I had what the doctors called a minor heart attack. But there is no such thing as minor when it feels like your life is flashing before your eyes. I remember lying in that hospital bed, wires taped to my chest, wondering how I got there. I was not ready. I still had so much to do, so many people to be there for. But my body had had enough. That experience changed everything. It forced me to stop pretending that I could outrun time. It made me realize that no amount of success, money, or recognition is worth your health, because without your health, you cannot enjoy any of it. From that moment on, I made a decision, not a dramatic overhaul, but simple, intentional choices. I started walking every day, even just for 20 minutes. I began eating real food, not just fast food eaten in the car. I prioritized sleep. I went to my checkups. I took stress seriously. And do you know what happened? I felt human again. Not just alive, but truly present in my life. I could laugh without getting winded. I could play with my grandchildren without needing to sit down every 10 minutes. I had energy, not the kind that comes from caffeine, but the kind that comes from being well. Most people think taking care of your health means giving something up, but what you gain is far more valuable. You gain time, you gain energy, you gain presence, and presence is everything. If you are younger than me, start now. You do not need to run marathons or follow strict diets. Just move your body, drink water, pay attention to how you feel, and most importantly, do not wait until something breaks to realize how lucky you are to be whole. And if you are already dealing with health issues, do not give up. Your body may not be where it was at 25, but it is still yours, and it is still capable of healing and strength. You have one body, one. Treat it like it matters, because it does. Trust me, when you are lying in a hospital bed, you will not be thinking about your work deadlines or the emails you did not answer. You will be thinking about the walks you never took, the sunsets you missed, the dinners you skipped. Take care of your body, and it will take care of you. Ignore it, and you will pay, sooner or later. I paid, and I was lucky to get another chance. You might not be. 5. Relationships over achievements. If I could go back in time and change one thing, it would not be about money, career, or fame. It would be about people. The people I took for granted. The ones I kept saying later to. The friends I lost touch with. The moments I could have spent listening instead of proving a point. Because now, at 70, I've come to understand something I never saw clearly before. In the end, it is not about what you achieve. It is about who walks beside you through it all. For most of my life, I was proud of my accomplishments, and I still am to a degree. But I spent too many years believing that my worth was tied to my work. I thought the bigger my job title, the more I mattered. I thought the more I provided, the more I loved. But the truth is, your job will be posted online the day after you leave it. Your company will survive without you. Your inbox will fill again tomorrow. What will not wait forever are the people in your life who want your time, your presence, your affection. I learned this slowly. One missed birthday party. One argument left unresolved. One call I never returned. And then one day I realized that the people I loved most were growing distant. Not because they stopped caring, but because they stopped competing with the things I prioritized over them. I remember a conversation with my daughter. She was about 30 at the time. She looked at me one night and said, "Dad, I love you. But sometimes I feel like your work has always come first. It broke my heart. Not because she was angry, but because she was right. That was the beginning of a long road back to connection. I started showing up, not just physically, but emotionally. I listened more. I judged less. I stopped offering advice unless I was asked. I began saying, "I'm proud of you" more often, and "I'm sorry" when I needed to. And do you know what happened? My relationships changed. They deepened. My adult children started calling just to talk. My friends invited me over more. I started having the kind of conversations I used to rush through. And suddenly, I felt rich in a way I never had before. We often chase success, thinking it will make us feel whole. But connection, real, honest connection, is what fills the empty spaces. If you are blessed to have people in your life who love you, treasure them. Not with grand gestures, but with consistency. Be there. Listen. Laugh with them. Cry with them. Tell them you love them, even if it feels awkward at first. If you are distant from someone you care about, reach out. Even if it has been years. Even if you were the one who walked away. Because no award, no title, no salary will ever hold your hand when life gets hard. People will. And when you look back at your life, as I am now, you will not remember your best day at work. You will remember who stood with you when things fell apart. You will remember who made you feel seen and loved just for being yourself. Achievements are temporary. Relationships are what endure. 6. Learn to let go. One of the hardest lessons I have learned in 70 years is how to let go. Letting go of anger. Letting go of pride. Letting go of people I loved but had to move on from. Letting go of the version of myself I thought I had to be. It did not come easy. For most of my life, I held on to things far longer than I should have. I thought holding on made me strong. I thought forgiveness was weakness. I believed that being right mattered more than being at peace. But here is the truth. Holding on to pain does not protect you. It drains you. For years, I carried old arguments like they were trophies. I replayed hurtful words in my mind over and over again. I told myself I could not forgive someone because they had not apologized or because they did not deserve it. And maybe they did not. But the weight of that pain, well, it stayed with me. It affected my sleep, my mood, my relationships, and my health. There is one person in particular I did not speak to for nearly 2 decades, a close friend from my younger years. We had a falling out, one of those stubborn, pride-filled arguments that felt too big to fix at the time. So we let the silence grow. Year after year, I kept waiting for him to reach out. He probably thought the same about me. One day, I heard he had passed, just like that. No warning. No chance to make peace. I sat with that regret for a long time. Not because I thought we would become best friends again, but because I had let pride steal the chance for closure. I wish I could tell you that time heals everything, but it does not. Time only heals what you are willing to release. Some wounds stay open because we keep picking at them. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not saying that what happened was okay. It is simply deciding that your peace is more valuable than your pain. And it is not just about forgiving others. Sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is yourself. I have had to learn how to let go of mistakes I made as a father, as a husband, as a friend. I have had to sit with the discomfort of knowing I cannot go back and fix everything. But I can choose not to carry shame into the future. Letting go is a practice. It is not a one-time decision. It is something you do over and over again, each time you feel bitterness rising, each time a memory threatens your peace, and each time you choose peace, you get a little freer. So if you are holding on to something right now, a grudge, a failure, a painful memory, I am not saying you have to let it go overnight, but I am asking you to consider what it is costing you. Is it worth the space it is taking up in your heart? Is it worth the distance it is creating between you and the people you love? You do not have to wait for an apology to move on. You do not need perfect closure to heal. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is, "This no longer has power over me." Letting go does not make you weak. It sets you free. 7. The power of living slowly. If there is one thing I wish I had embraced sooner in life, it is this. You do not have to rush through everything. You do not have to fill every minute with noise, with plans, with movement. There is great power in slowing down and noticing. When I was younger, I moved fast, always chasing the next goal, checking off the next task, filling every hour with something to do. I thought staying busy meant I was being productive. I thought moving fast meant I was making progress. But somewhere along the way, I started missing things. I stopped noticing the small joys. I would drive past the same trees every day and never really look at them. I would eat entire meals without tasting a bite. I would spend time with people I loved, but be somewhere else in my mind, already thinking about the next thing. It was not until I retired and the pace of life slowed on its own that I realized how much I had been missing. At first, the quiet felt strange. I felt restless. I did not know what to do with stillness, but slowly, I began to appreciate it. Now I wake up early, not because I have to, but because I want to. I sit with a cup of coffee and listen to the birds. I take walks without music or distractions. I watch the sunlight move across the living room floor. These may sound like small things, but they are not. They are life, and I missed too many of them. Living slowly does not mean doing nothing. It means doing things with intention. It means giving your full attention to the moment you are in. It means listening to someone without rushing them. It means tasting your food, not just eating it. It means breathing deeply and being fully present. There is a richness in slow living that fast living cannot give you. There is clarity in silence. There is beauty in boredom. There is connection in undivided attention. If your life feels like a blur right now, I invite you to pause. You do not have to change everything at once. Just slow one thing down. Eat without looking at your phone. Walk without a destination. Talk without checking the clock. You might be surprised at what you notice. Some of my favorite memories from the last 10 years are the simplest ones. Sitting on the porch with my grandson, not saying much. Cooking dinner with my daughter, just chopping vegetables and laughing. Watching the rainfall. Those moments would have slipped past me if I had been moving too fast. Slowing down gave me my life back. It reminded me that I do not have to earn rest. I do not have to fill every silence. I do not have to rush to be valuable. I am already enough, here, now as I am. You do not need to wait until retirement to start living slowly. You can begin today, because the best parts of life are not found in the rush. They are found in the stillness you used to skip over. Thank you for spending this time with me. If something I shared today spoke to your heart, hold on to it. Do not wait for the perfect moment to start living differently. Start now while you still can. I am 70, and I can tell you, life moves fast, but meaning comes slowly. Choose what matters. Let go of what does not. And above all, be present for yourself and for the ones you love. Take good care of yourself. I will see you next time.